everyone. Have a great day. I hope everybody's doing well. This is Ivy Michelle.
And hi, this is Rosemary Linaza.
Now, guys, we have 3 topics or points on this video presentation. Me and Miss Linaza, we have prepared a short and brief explanation and hope you guys will learn something from our video presentation. First point,
Markets for the factors of production.
the second point,
Labor market equilibrium.
and the third point.
Factors that explain productivity and wages.
The third point will be discussed by Miss Linaza later. But before that, let's proceed or let's begin the first topic that I'm gonna discuss to you. Please pay attention. Take down notes if you want. Markets for the factors of production.
The phrase factor market is used by economists to refer to all the resources that companies utilize to buy, rent, or hire the equipment they use to manufacture goods or services. The market for factor is also known as the input market. The materials utilized to make a good or provide a service in order to generate revenue are referred to as the factors of production. In a market economy, these are the 4 production factors, or there are 4 production factors rather. First, land. Second, labor. Third, capital. And fourth is entrepreneurship. Now, what is land? Land is a factor of production similar to labor as one of the crucial elements in creating goods and services. Examples: raw materials, oils, trees, and metal. Or, in other words, these are the natural resources. Labor. The amount of physical, mental, and social effort used to produce goods and services in an economy. Examples: supplies the expertise, manpower, and service needed to turn raw materials to finished goods and services. Capital. It is the assets used by businesses in the course of producing their products and services, and can include buildings, machinery, tools, and equipment. To complete the 4 production factors, entrepreneurship. It is the process of setting up a business, taking it from an idea to realization. Let's proceed to market factor examples. Now, what are market factor examples? Okay, I will give you some examples of market factors, such as government policies. Most likely, the activities of local, state, and national governments can affect the buying behavior of a consumer market. International conditions, also investor speculation, product supply and demand, consumer age, employment levels, consumer income, and also seasonal fluctuations. Those examples, again, are from the market factors. Next, or let me ask you guys, what are the types of production? Maybe we are familiar with those types of production that I'm gonna mention now. Yes, right now. Such as number 1, the mass production. Number 2, batch production. Number 3, job production. Number 4, service production. And number 5 is customized production. Those are the types of production. Now, let's elaborate. Mass production, it is also known as flow production or continuous production. Secondly, batch production. What is batch production?
As we can see on the screen, these are the keywords that define batch production. Remember that batch production is parts made in batches, cost-effective, machinery reutilized, and short production runs.
Number 3, job production. Job production, sometimes called jobbing or one-off production.
Again, on the screen, we can see that some of the keywords that define job production. Job production is a high-quality product, low-volume production, expert skilled workers, and customized timelines. Take note, those are the keywords for job production.
Number 5, customized production. So from the word customize, it means centers around the production of smaller quantities of given product to meet a customer's specific needs. From the word specific, because it is being customized. Before we jump in to the next topic, guys, I hope that you've learned something from our first topic.
Labor market equilibrium.
First, what is the definition of market equilibrium? Well, it is a buyers and sellers react to price changes. When prices are high, the buyer reduces consumption, and when prices are low, the seller reduces production. Example: whatever is produced has been sold and is called market clearing. This stage is a balance where consumer and producer behavior is consistent and none of the participants has any incentive to change such behavior. Now, what does the term labor market mean? The labor market, it is the ability of employment and labor in terms of supply and demand. The labor market is in equilibrium when supply equals demand. When the supply and demand of labor, where an employee give the supply and employers provide the demand, are referred to as the labor market, also referred to as the job market. It is a crucial part of every economy and is closely connected to the markets for capital, goods, and services. Now, guys, let me ask you, does there really exist a labor market equilibrium? If so, why? When there is an equal supply of workers and a matching demand for workers from businesses, the labor market is in equilibrium. In practice, this is unlikely to occur because the supply and demand curves in the labor market were continuously shifted by political and economic shocks. Needless to say, a modern industrialized economy is continually subjected to many shocks that shift both the supply and demand curves. It is unlikely, therefore, that the labor market actually ever reaches a stable equilibrium, with wages and employment remaining at a constant level for a long time. Let me just share an illustration of market equilibrium, but it's just only an example and overview for us. But I will not go deeper with this because we have only short period of time. So in order to determine the labor market's equilibrium wage, here I'm gonna show you.
On the graph, as you can see, the equilibrium market wage rate is at the intersection of the supply and demand of labor. Employees are hired up to the point where the extra cost of hiring an employee is equal to the extra sales revenue from selling their output. And this is the equilibrium wages in the labor market graph.
Okay, use the labor demand and labor supply equations to get the equilibrium, real pay, and level of employment. So, like 200 minus 4L is equal to 4L, or L is equal to 25. So W is equal to 4, open and close parentheses, 25. Or we call it 4 times 25. Yes, 4 times 25 is equal to 100. The result of substituting L is equal to 25 into the labor demand or labor supply equation. So it's just like that.
Guys, let me just give you some hint on
The features of market equilibrium. So the features of market equilibrium, it means the amount demanded by the customer is equal to the amount supplied by the seller, and the quantity supplied and demands is equal to the equilibrium quantity. The price charge is equal to the equilibrium.
Then, for the last topic would be factors that explain productivity and wages. That will be discussed by Ms. Linaza.
Thank you, Ms. Ivy. I'm here to discuss the 5 factors that explain productivity. Whatever the company size, one of the constant challenges it faces is to achieve the optimum productivity from the workforce. There are several particularly important factors that play a role in productivity. One is energy and personal attitude. And the number 2 is equipment and resources. And number 3 is objectives. And the number 4 is the leadership. And the number 5 is the environment. First is person's energy and attitude are the most important productivity because it affects everywhere, whether at work or not. The inner and the attitude of the persons a peak is altered like the attitude of the other workers. The physical work setting, the level of responsibility, the pressure received, and the number of processes in place. Second, the equipment and resources. Giving the correct tools directly impact productivity in the workplace. Untrained employees could delay work and mismanage resources, which could cost the company. Next is objectives. Planning and having a goal can help to be productive. Here, the goal needs to be thought to be smart, specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. Then the leadership. The leadership is the great impact to the team. So it's necessary for the leader to be trustworthy, honest, and balanced in administration because he will serve as a driver to achieve the goal. Lastly, the environment. As you can imagine, no one enjoys working in a negative or a toxic environment. A good environment helps your employee to develop healthy work habits, which contribute to creating productive workforce. Reasons wages vary. Some reasons why wages vary are credentials, experience and skills, industry or employer, job tasks, geographic location, success, and performance. Credentials are those who have diploma or certification. They earn more than those without credentials even if the job is the same because they have advantage that they show they have deserving more important. Next is experience and skills. The more experience you have, the more productive you become because you learn a lot from every job that you do. And those experience and skills are paid higher than the new one because they already know how the job works. Next is industry or employer. There are jobs that depend on work you do or a client you get. So this is why wages can vary from one work settings into the next. Next is job tasks. There are a different position in a workplace. That's why there is a difference in wages. Because the work has a difference even if they are in the same company. Geographic locations, there are countries or places where their wages are higher due to various geographical factors such as local demand for work and cost of living salary. It depends on the environment and status of the area or a place. Lastly, success and performance. There are jobs that earn big because they are a well-known name of the company. And there are also workers whose salary depends on their work or performance can also have a very high salary or a very low salary. And that's my explanation about the reasons wages vary. Thank you.
Feels like love